Hello, Lucas Nation fans and Lester fans. Welcome back to another exciting Lucas Chat podcast with your host, Tairus Lester. And of course, Kennedy has been talking about the Sony press conference, and today I am going to be talking about the Xbox E3 2016 press conference. Of course, kind of how the previous video of Sony with Kennedy Lucas, of course, I will be talking about Xbox as he talked about Sony. Now, Xbox is a little bit different story from Sony, of course. Different arena, different themes, and different system. Now, with this podcast, of course, we're going to do it how we did it, how they did it in Sony. We're going to also just talk about Xbox's exclusive contents down to their newest games they have coming out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Of course, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. If you're listening on SoundCloud.com, thank you, number one. And number two, also share this with your social media accounts and your Facebook friends, Instagram friends, and see that K.L.P Entertainment is booming. And as the executive of the live website, I'm very excited to be doing a podcast recap of Xbox E3 2016 recap. Now, of course, they started to show off kind of like how they've been doing in the past. Of course, you've got a little intro, a little light show. You know, they have that booming. But then they introduced for the first game for the recap press conference is Gears of War 4. Now, ladies and gents, we've known that E3 has been famous for showcasing their new games, and of course, all over on YouTube, Gears of War 4 has been booming out for the trailer, and to see actual gameplay footage for Xbox is very fantastic. Of course, they had Laura Bailey, the voice actor, very good voice actor, not only in anime, but also in the video game industry. She also played Blaze from Sonic the Hedgehog series. Seeing Gears of War 4's gameplay was very fantastic. The gameplay made sense, and there's a lot of things going on with that game. The gameplay was just really good. I actually enjoyed seeing the gameplay and seeing how they really react with one another. And the dialogue is very fast-paced, and the action pack is, fast-paced as well. Another thing they also introduced for the Gears of War series and Gears of War 4 is a new Gears of War 4 controller, Pro Controller, Xbox style. Now, the controller looks really great. It looks well designed and well crafted. Of course, it has some scratch marks and some different bent points into the controller. And to see that is very fantastic. Of course, the main character will be coming back as well. We don't have a name of the character. I forget what the character's name was. I'm thinking Max. Probably not even Max. But that main character from Gears of War 3 will also be featured in Gears of War 4. Of course, one of the representatives had come out to advertise new download codes for Killer Instinct. Of course, there's a new game. It was new to K.L.P Entertainment because we never really heard of Killer Instinct. At least I haven't. So to see that back out and to see new games development and new games are out and people love it, it's fantastic. Of course, General Ram from the Gears of War series will be the downloaded character for Killer Instinct as well. So to see that character into this game, it's phenomenal. It's different. Of course, we're going to be reviewing Killer Instinct because I haven't really seen it. Now, this next game is one of my prime favorites and one of my favorite of all games. Of course, they advertise out more of Forza Horizon 3. Of course, Forza Horizon has been out, 2012? 2012. And, of course, 2014, Forza Horizon 2 came out. Again, 2016, Forza Horizon 3 will be released out with all new mods and all new cars. Now, they did also advertise gameplay footage at their E3 press conference, and to see that is fantastic. Gameplay is very fast-paced. Their graphic style is a little bit different, being that they're going to the next-gen consoles. Of course, you can have up to 4 players start out at different time points in different areas. They race up and they join into your race, and they all meet together into this one epic race. So once they advertised that key point out, I was super excited when watching the E3 press conference. I was very excited for that gameplay. Again, Forza is one of my favorite racing games in comparison to Gran Turismo and all those other racing games. Forza Horizon was one of the fast-paced action, but not too professional racing game that you can also enjoy with your friends. Of course, you can join between the Windows 10 via your PC, your actual game console, or you can also hook up your steering wheel setup to your console, and you can race that way as well. So I will be racing that up soon enough. The next thing that they showed also in E3 is ReCore. ReCore is this new game that's coming out. Of course, you're this main character that has all these different types of robots and these different moves and these different types of robots that have different abilities. Seeing gameplay of ReCore is exciting. Hopefully, they develop a strong campaign mode, but seeing the actual gameplay for ReCore is very fantastic, and I just can't wait to see what they offer in ReCore and their downloadable content. Now, the next thing they also advertised for the E3 show is the Minecraft series. Now, of course, I don't know if Kennedy's into the Minecraft series, but I'm definitely not really into the Minecraft series. I think those are good for all the Minecraft people that plays Minecraft, but I never really got into it. The two speakers that were on and representing the Minecraft series, they looked very excited for the Minecraft realms and the Minecraft technology, but I haven't really been so much into it. Now, if you have an Oculus from Xbox, you can also join into the game using your Oculus virtual reality headset. But, again, I never really got into it. I'm more of the I don't want to say serious gamer, but I never really got into it. Now, hopefully, we don't get a lot of hate comments in the comments below. But being me, I never got into E3 and when in their Minecraft area, I never got into it. For all you Minecraft gamers out there, of course, they do have this friendly update coming very soon for the Minecraft series. Now, the next game is Dead Rising 4 from Xbox and Capcom. Dead Rising 4 will be coming out. They gonna have this game out by the holidays because in the trailer and in the gameplay at E3, they advertised more of a Christmas feel. So we kind of got the drift that the game will be out later this holiday season. So for all of you guys who wants to give your significant other or your friends a holiday gift, give them Dead Rising 4. Dead Rising 3 and 2 were great. Played both of the games, and they're fast-paced and they're exciting. It's a little bit different to see those two games and to see Dead Rising 4 coming out very soon. Now, the next game is Scalebound. Scalebound is one of the Prime famers that both of us have been looking for. Very excited to have those games as well as we get text messages over here. Scalebound is different. It's a different story mode. It's a different theme and a different thing, different story mode, different characters, and you have dragons and you're fighting big boss levels. So I really do think they're trying to advocate the big boss levels in both Scalebound, Final Fantasy, and even God of War. Of course, God of War is more of the PlayStation side of things, but I've seen their press conference as well. The next game is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is different. Of course, there's a new game in development. I think it's very fast-paced, and I think it's exciting. Of course, it's for your virtual reality Oculus headset, so, they're trying to really push that virtual reality world. If you don't have your virtual reality, that's okay. You can also still play the game using, your console, whatever you have. This game seemed very good for a co-op network. So if you have different people on the network that has this game, it'll be good to play around with your friends. Seeing gameplay of this is very exciting. It's not so quirky. It's not corny. It's a game it makes you want to laugh, but makes you want to enjoy the game and enjoy what it has to offer. And I'm seeing gameplay. It looks fun. It looks like your fun type of game. Now, this next game is State of Decay 2, coming in 2017. Now, that is a game that has been sort of confirmed out. You have a little bit of zombies. You have a little bit of bosses. They didn't really show too much of gameplay for this game because coming in 2017. They really don't show you much because they're still in development for that game as well. But to see that the game's coming out very soon, okay, we'll give this game a shot. Of course, the next game is Halo Wars 2 coming out next year. As we get more text, of course, that game will be coming out very soon for Halo War 2. I got into the Halo series a little bit, and I actually did enjoy the Halo. Halo's very fantastic game to play. As we are getting multiple text. But Halo Wars 2, they didn't really advocate too much gameplay for that game as well because they're still in development. Now, the next game they're releasing out, available June 29th, is called Inside. Now, I don't know if this was an indie type game. Of course, the guy came out, and they're very excited because he developed another game that was listed last year. And Inside is this new game that's finished in development and will be released out later this month. So at the end of this month, actually, this game will be released. Of course, it's an indie game, so not too much surprises coming into indie games. Now, the next game is called We Happy Few. Now, this game, they show gameplay, and they show the crazy characters, and the design was kind of scary at first. But seeing the story mode and seeing how this game plays out, I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for the main character to see how he changes his world, and he changes different style of the game. Of course, they did show a couple of gameplay for the game as well. And it's your typical first-person decision-making type of game. To see that game out, very, very exciting to see that. Now, of course, the director of ID at Xbox, of course, is the newest update they're using to kind of stay together and comment together and view together as a gaming community. I'm really glad that Xbox has decided to do something like this because it's all about the gaming world. It's all about community. It's all about getting connected with all the other people out there in the world that also enjoys the same thing you do. Of course, this next game will be available September 30th, 2016. It's Final Fantasy, the next Final Fantasy game. They showed the gameplay. Now, I think this gameplay demo was the longest running gameplay showing at E3 history. Final Fantasy is a good game, and to see the next one coming out very soon, of course, they develop a lot of big bosses and a big variety of bosses and different characters. So I can't wait to see how Final Fantasy develops. Of course, they did outline the next Tom Clancy game. Of course, in the Division series, it's called Tom Clancy's The Division Underground. Now, I'm not sure if this is a download code or is this a whole nother different game. I knew the Division is going to have multiple series of the series, so hopefully this one does well, and hopefully once we review it, and hopefully it gets choose for the Lucas Chat podcast, and you guys can see it. Now, this next game, most gamers knew all about because the trailer was released out maybe a couple weeks before E3, but of course, Battlefield 1 has been released out and confirmed. Seeing Battlefield 1 is very exciting. Of course, I know EA at their press conference, they had a tournament going on, and Jamie Foxx and Zac Efron was there to play the game in their network community and playing over different types. So to see Battlefield 1 coming out, okay, well, I can't wait to add that to the video on demand tab as well because that game is fantastic just by seeing the gameplay, and I think that's gonna set it back real good. Now, of course, this next game, once Akuma from Street Fighter was on screen, I thought this was a next new Street Fighter game. I'm like, okay, how many more do they want to do in Street Fighter? But then I saw I'm trying to remember this guy's name. I can't remember the guy's name, the old grandpa from Tekken, came on screen too, and I thought, okay, is this Street Fighter Cross Tekken 2nd edition or 2 or something different? But this is Tekken 7. Yes, Tekken 7 has been running 7 games straight. Tekken 7 will be coming early 2017, so more like after Christmas, maybe February of 2017. Tekken 7, this gameplay looks phenomenal. It's not it doesn't look like your typical Tekken game. You get to move around the environment, and you have new powers and new characters. Of course, Akuma will be the downloaded character once you pre-order the game. Um, but to see a kind of a whiff of Street Fighter character into this Tekken game, I wish they would have added more Street Fighter characters into the Tekken 7 series. I think they probably will later on down in the series, but well, you never know. Then again, of course, moving on to the E3 Xbox 2016 press conference, they did advertise this company that customizes your Xbox One controller. Of course, you can have over 8 million custom designs within the game, and to see that it rolls out really well is very good. Now, the main focus point for Xbox E3 2016 press conference is the newest Xbox console. Of course, most Xbox consoles are normally black. Of course, if you get the special edition of different games, you get a big customized of white. But the newest console will be named Xbox One S. I'm thinking the S meaning for slim because it's smaller. Of course, they're starting at $300. You roll in pop for US dollars. Of course, it's 500 gigabytes. The price might vary. And to see that a new console is out and is smaller, okay, that's pretty good. The Xbox One controllers, game consoles were really big coming out when you get them day one. It was big. It was like a VCR. It was huge. They made that console huge. And to see that the Xbox One S is slimmer and smaller, not too bad. Not too bad. I like that white finish. White goes good with everything, and I like that white finish. Again, price point starting at $300. I think Xbox kind of got PlayStation beat because once a new console come out from Xbox, it's $300, and for PlayStation, it's $400. So you got to tackle on a whole nother new $100 if you want to get this console. But starting at $300 for the Xbox One S, not too bad, not too shabby. Very fantastic to see that console out for most people out there. Of course, they do have another new console that they advertised at the end of the E3 press conference. It is not only the Xbox One or the Xbox One S, but it's Project Scorpio is what they're calling it. Project Scorpio. They're saying that it's another new Xbox console coming out later on in the years of 2018 and late 2017, early 2018. So they got a long way to go for this project for this console to be out, but to have this out for Xbox and Microsoft, it's a stretch. I feel that it's a stretch. If they want to have this console out, maybe this console will be something. Maybe this will become something greater, but I don't know. It's a stretch. They advertise it now, and it's a stretch. That's my take on it. This Project Scorpio, it might be a stretch. Maybe they'll pull it off and it becomes something greater. I think, in my opinion, it's a little bit too early to kind of advertise a new console because if Lucas Nation and Listener Nation, you got to understand, it's been, 5-6 years since we got a new console. We had the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 for about 6-7 years, and then now they have a new console. That's a good time stretch. Now you're talking about, here's your next gen console. In 2 more years, here's another new console. I think that's I don't want to say it's a bad call because it's business. I just think it's a bit of a stretch because if you still have these gamers still stuck on the next gen, such as Xbox One and PlayStation 4, the next gen, they're going to have the next gen console for at least 10 years before trying to develop a whole nother new console. I think in the new console department for Xbox, of course, you have Xbox One S, your next gen console, and then it's been confirmed over at Sony that they're doing PlayStation 4 Neo or PlayStation 4K. So to see that this is a stretch to have Project Scorpio come in for their third console. I think they should just leave it alone. But again, it's business. They want to make some money. Seeing the actual trailer, it looks good. They didn't confirm any images of Project Scorpio's next console, so we don't really have too much of images, but to have the name at least, that it gives us something to work with, and it gives us podcasters and vloggers something to read on and to read about and to have some news on. So, future comes, who knows? They may pull this off. This may be very fantastic. Now, I do have to say, and hopefully Kennedy's not watching this podcast, but I do have to say the display for the show and the arena was better compared to PlayStation 4's E3 or Sony's E3 press conference, because Xbox, they had a lot of light shows and a lot of screens. So I think they kind of beat them in that display department. But I seen that in Sony's E3, they had a big screen, but Xbox also had a big screen, plus more lights and demographics and different setups. I thought their setup was fantastic. So to have that out for the department is very good. So let me know what you guys think of today's podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in for the Xbox E3 2016 podcast press conference address. Of course, we did the Sony recap with Kennedy, and of course, James is going to be doing the Nintendo recap coming very soon. So this whole weekend is just going to be podcast weekend with 3 different podcasts from 3 different people with 3 different eye takes of their E3 press conference recap shows. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys subscribe to K.L.P Entertainment's YouTube channel and all their links in the link description below if you don't follow us already. So this has been a recap for Xbox E3 2016 with Tairus Lester. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Logging out.